So I said earlier that I was going to talk about Juneteenth versus the 4th of July. Put quite simply, I think the 4th of July is kind of bullshit, and maybe we shouldn't have it as a national holiday. And Juneteenth should be a national holiday, and in case you were under the illusion that it still is, it isn't. About 3 or 4 years ago, all major employers in all 50 states were recognizing it as such for the first time. And now it, along with MLK Day, are no longer across the board all major companies in all 50 states considered a national holiday, just to bring you up to speed on that. But what am I talking about? Well, the more you look at history and you really start to think about things, the Revolutionary War and the changes that it brought about weren't actually that significant. I mean, in modern context, it's kind of like, it's a little bit, I know this is a huge stretch in some ways, but it's a little bit like comparing the Republicans and the Democrats. Now, regardless of which side you're on, you probably think that there's a noticeable and significant difference. But regardless of which side you're on, you probably also think that the size of that difference is not as big as it should be. Well, Revolutionary War was kind of like that. Yeah, things changed, some things maybe for the better, but for the average person anyways, we might have been better off under the Brits. You know what I mean? It didn't provide liberty or even change, for that matter, to a great number of people. All men were not free at that time. All races, the women wasn't shit, not for a long time, not until about the 1970s or later, depending on how you look at it. Maybe not even now. But whereas Juneteenth, technically that, far more than the Emancipation Proclamation, was the official end of slavery from a legal point of view. Which, I mean, slavery versus, you know, hey, we're paying some taxes and maybe not getting representation. I mean, slavery was a big fucking deal, folks. Let's not pretend it wasn't. Let's really not pretend it wasn't. Whereas, again, if we really gave a damn about, you know, taxes without representation and shit, then, well, you know, Puerto Rico would be a state, for example. You know, I could think of a whole bunch more examples. And the Electoral College would be gone, for example. I don't know. You get my point. Just, if we really look at the two, we'd be celebrating one and not a hell of a lot more, and the other a hell of a lot less. As all I gotta say, feel free to chime in, unless you just trolling MAGA, in which case, as always, you will be ignored or removed. So, have fun.